Las Vegas trips that take you for a ride? We're going to share some winning secrets only the pros know. We'll tell you what the best games are to play and where. We'll even show you how to score meals, shows, and hotel rooms for free. Stay with us for A Pro's Guide to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, the most popular gambling destination in the world. For the more than 35 million visitors who come here every year, Vegas is a dream factory in the desert. Unfortunately for most, the dream of winning big turns out to be just another mirage. The reason why should be obvious. The odds are set to favor the house. That's why Las Vegas exists. Those odds, however, vary from game to game and from casino to casino. According to the pros, if you know what you're doing, you can shave the house edge enough to go home feeling like a winner every time.
What you really have to do to beat Las Vegas in all of these areas is be a savvy consumer.
Author and high-stakes gambler Anthony Curtis is a world-respected authority on Las Vegas. His most important piece of advice? Be prepared.
Pay a lot of attention to what you do before you come. Do a lot of research. Read. Go online and read the websites that have free information about Las Vegas, and take advantage of this information.
Start by avoiding the games you have the least chance of winning. We begin our insider's lesson with the single most ubiquitous symbol of Las Vegas, the slot machine.
Casinos make a tremendous amount of money from slots. Slots pay their bills. Most casinos, 70% of the take is from slot machines.
Jeffrey Compton, a gaming industry consultant, is one of Las Vegas's foremost experts on slot machines. He knows that house odds as high as 5% or more make them one of the best ways to lose your bankroll. Here's a secret you probably don't know.
Most people don't realize how often they pull a handle in an hour. Most people think they pull a handle maybe 50 to 60 times an hour, when in reality they're pulling the handle or pressing the button closer to 500 times per hour. So if you're losing 3 or 5 cents every time you pull that handle, you're losing $25 an hour.
No wonder they're known as one-armed bandits. You'd think people would avoid them the way they would avoid a human mugger, but they don't.
Tables can be a little intimidating. There are other people, there's a dealer, you don't know exactly what to do at the table. Where slot machines, all you have to do is sit down, put your money in, and press the button or pull the handle. Also, casinos have put in a tremendous effort in better marketing slots. There have been more new slot machines created in the last 3 or 4 years than in the last 40 years.
So, given that people are going to play them, here are Compton's exclusive Travel Channel tips for making the most of it. To begin with, avoid misconceptions. The most common is that a machine that hasn't paid off in a while is due.
Every time you play a slot machine, you have an equal chance of hitting the jackpot, even if the jackpot was hit the time before or the jackpot hasn't been hit in 6 months.
Don't fall for systems. There is no such thing as a winning system at slots.
You see ads that say, send us $100 and we'll teach you how to win in slots. And they say things like, play every other machine and put 2 coins in this one and 1 coin in that one and 4 coins in the next one and see which one comes out the best. And in reality, that doesn't do a thing for your slot play.
According to Compton, the only way you win at slots is by pure and simple short-term luck. Over the long haul, you will come away a loser. But even so, there are ways to minimize your losses and make your bankroll stretch over a longer period. Here are some of his personal secrets.
I recommend you play the machines with the lower jackpots because they hit more often. I would not play machines at airports and in small bars. I would avoid machines in convenience stores. I would avoid machines at the car wash while you're waiting for your car. Generally, these machines are tighter. I would never play a machine I don't understand. Some of the latest and greatest machines coming out in Las Vegas and elsewhere are very hard to understand. If you don't understand how it works, don't play that machine.
And perhaps most importantly, never believe what anyone else tells you.
One of the most popular myths on the Strip, and I've even seen it written in so-called how-to gaming books, is you ask the change girls which machine is going to hit next. The change girls have no more idea than the man on the moon which machines are going to hit. Let's face it, if they knew a machine was a real winner, they'd have their boyfriend sitting in front of it.
As to where the slots are placed in the casino, Compton says forget about it.
One of the most common misconceptions is that slot directors put the best machines by the bathroom, or on the aisle, or in the middle, or by the buffet. It doesn't matter. There are 250 casinos in this country and 250 different ways of laying out a casino floor. There's no general rule about where the hot slots are and where they aren't.
Slots aren't the only house hogs on the casino floor. Roulette is a wallet emptier too.
You're facing a game that's been engineered to beat you. And unfortunately, when a casino has an advantage, no form or pattern or system of betting your money will overcome that advantage for the casino.
The house advantage for roulette is 5.26%, or for every $100 you wager, they take about $5.26 from you. It's a lot.
Max Rubin is a true insider. He's worked in the gaming industry for 25 years as everything from a dealer to a casino owner. Though he knows roulette is an inherently bad bet, he understands its allure.
It's fun. It appeals to the lottery mentality because it has a lot of big payoffs that pay 35 to 1, 17 to 1. You're playing with destiny a lot. That ball spins, so there's a big moment in there. The whole table's cheering.
Max's secret for beating roulette? Don't play it.
Players shouldn't come into a roulette game expecting that he's going to beat that game. Have the expectation you're going to lose. Professionals do not play roulette. There are very few honest ways that a person can increase their odds at roulette.
Okay, but Max does have one secret to cutting the house's edge, if you can find it.
You can find a single zero roulette wheel, but there are very few of those.
The two green zero slots are what give the house the advantage. Half the regular numbers are red, half are black. Say you bet on red coming up next. The house pays 2 to 1 as if it's a 50-50 chance, but it isn't, because every once in a while the ball is going to fall in one of those green holes. When it does, a bet on red loses and a bet on black loses. So finding a wheel with only one green slot cuts the house advantage in half. Other than that, the best you can do is slow down your losing.
There are a number of bets on a roulette wheel that are safer than others. They're called the outside bets. Odd, even, red or black, the even money bets, there's a much greater chance that those are going to hit. If you put one chip, say on 17, it's 38 to 1 that that number is going to hit, so it's not a very safe bet for you to make.
Max Rubin's best advice of all? You should look at roulette and slots too as just another form of entertainment that you're going to pay for. Like going to a concert or a movie. Of course, in this case, how much you pay is up to you. Every year, Las Vegas casinos rake in nearly $8 billion, or roughly $665 from every person who sets foot inside their doors. But not everyone goes home a big-time loser. The secret is to start by picking the right game. According to the pros, the best game for the average gambler to have a shot at is Blackjack, otherwise known as 21.
If you are knowledgeable, you can cut the casino advantage down to anywhere between 1/3 and 0.5% away from even.
The key to blackjack is knowing something called basic strategy, a mathematically figured set of rules that tell you the best way to play every hand.
Virtually every gift shop in Nevada sells a little card. They're called basic strategy cards. They'll cost between $1 to $3. Look something like this, and this will tell you what you should do in any given situation on a table. Once you do that, you're playing better than all but maybe a tenth of 1% of the blackjack players in the world. Now I have a 12. Dealer's got a 3. What do? You take a look at the card over here. Believe it or not, you're supposed to hit that hand, so I'm going to do it. Not bad. Tight, I got lucky there. Anytime you get a 12 and win, you just played lucky. This card isn't going to tell you how to win. There's no card in the world to tell you how to win because you just don't know. You play such a small, limited number of hands, but it certainly will show you how to conserve your capital and play the game properly.
After that, it's all luck. And if you do go on a run, have the sense to know when to cash out and take your winnings home.
Okay, well, I got close. All right, well, take care. Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay.
But the pros do have a few other tips that may help.
The biggest mistake that players make on a blackjack table is taking insurance. That's when the dealer has an ace up. They'll ask you if you want to make a side bet called insurance. And you should always say no. And people who take it are wrong, mathematically.
Another common mistake is letting enthusiasm lead you to take unnecessary risks. Blackjack, again, is all about mathematics.
The other mistake that most people make is when they hit and when they stand. A rule of thumb in blackjack is that the next card coming out, there are more 10s than any other single denomination of cards. So a reasonable rule of thumb is to assume that the next card you're going to see is a 10.
Then there's doubling down. Doubling your bet in mid-play in exchange for only drawing one more card is a bet that favors the player. Look for casinos that let you double down at any time. And always check to see how many decks of cards are used at the table.
Another great rule of thumb and a secret for blackjack players, if you have a choice, you should always play at the table with the fewest number of decks. Always look for handhelds, which are 1 and 2 decks, rather than shoe games, which keep the big packs. It's just a mathematical fact. Fewer number of decks is better.
You should also disregard systems that tell you to bet more when you're on a winning streak and less when you're losing.
You only know when streaks happen when they're over. You never know when you're in a streak. I mean, people may feel it. The adrenaline starts pumping. You say, I'm due, but nobody really knows when they're due. Because if people could recognize when streaks are happening, casinos would cease to exist.
This last piece of advice won't help you win, but it will help you stretch out your playing time.
Always try to find a table with the most number of players. The reason for that, not much mathematically in terms of your odds in the game, but you will play at a slower pace. Your money will last longer if nothing else.
Of course, if you're really serious about blackjack, you might try what's called card counting.
Card counting is a method used by professional players in which they observe all of the cards which have been distributed and then make their wagers and their strategy decisions based upon the remaining composition of the deck.
Sometimes what's left favors you and you bet more. Sometimes what's left favors the dealer and you bet as little as possible.
Card counting takes a certain mathematical bent. You have to process in every card as it's played. But a successful card counter can actually turn the odds in his favor. Needless to say, the casinos disapprove of the practice and will generally eject anyone they suspect is doing it.
The casinos like to say that card counting is cheating, but it isn't. It's been tested in courts and it's not considered cheating. On the other hand, casinos are allowed to tell you they prefer not to have your action.
Which means if you try it, you not only need to be a math whiz, you better have some acting ability as well.
Card counting is made up of 2 points, the science and the art. The science is doing it, the art is getting away with it. You have to look like you're doing anything but counting cards. Now you gotta look like you're a crazy tourist on vacation and maybe sipping a beer on the side and chatting with the cocktail waitresses and acting like you could care less whether you win or lose. So the very successful card counters have to be able to A, do it, B, get away with it, and there are very few of those.
Card counting may not be cheating, but there are players who step over that line in other ways. Dustin Marks is a former blackjack cheater who was never caught.
Well, the reason I started playing blackjack, I'd been manipulating cards since I was 7 as a part-time magician. So the game naturally appealed to me and fascinated me. I started just like everybody else, learning basic strategy, and then went to card counting. But then I started wondering there must be a better way to gain an edge over the house.
The edge he found was an illegal one: cheating.
I worked a lot of different ways. You can work with a dealer, that's called inside, you know, working with help, or you can work the outside, working without the dealer. It would just depend on the conditions and the type of play.
When he worked inside, a dealer might unobtrusively show Marks one of his cards or signal what he had. He might even shuffle the deck so that the cards were stacked in Marks' favor.
It's easier with a dealer, but then again, of course, the money gets chopped 2 ways, and you have to have a proficient dealer.
Working outside or alone was harder but paid bigger dividends. We asked Marks to show us the secrets he used when he worked without a dealer's help. The demonstration begins with marking cards.
There's hundreds of ways to mark cards. Some of the best ways is where you don't physically do anything to the cards that would leave a mark. Just the simple action of turning over a blackjack. If you look at these cards now, they have a little bend to them. Cheaters can read these cards when they're under the dealer's hole card to determine if the dealer has a good hand.
Sometimes he would actually switch cards, slipping better ones into his hand.
Here's a way of switching cards. I'm dealt a 16, one of the worst hands in blackjack. As I go to tuck my cards, I take a drink, but now I have a 20.
How'd he do it? By palming a card.
The bad card is towards me. Now, as I come over, I'm going to take the good card, place it in front, and then do a palm and just slide out the bad card, leaving me with a 20.
Marks was so good, he didn't just manipulate the cards, he could do miracles with the chips, too.
One of the most common methods of cheating is adding to your bet, called pressing your bet. Here I'm going to bet 4 chips. If these are green chips, they're $25 chips. Now, if the cheater gets a good hand, he'd go tuck his cards and pull them back out and say to a player, hey, I finally got a 20, a good hand, and retuck his cards. What has happened, though, is I've actually now bet 5 checks. I added a check to the bottom of my cards.
Are Mark's hands too fast for your eyes? Don't feel bad. Many a professional dealer has fallen for the same trick. But what happens if the cheater isn't holding a good hand?
Again, I'm going to bet 4 chips. And this time, I don't get a good hand. I get a 16. As I go to tuck, I decide to take another look and then retuck my cards. Now, I only have 3 checks bet. So I've actually saved $25 if these are $25 chips.
Do you need to see it again? What he did as he pulled his cards away was grab the bottom chip and drag it back to his pile. Pit bosses are supposed to catch cheaters, but Mark says outwitting them was just part of the game.
The pit boss has anywhere from 4 to 6 games to watch. And then let's say there's 4 people on each game, that's anywhere from 16 to 20 people. As you can see, the games are not all on a line, so his back is going to be to some of the games all the time. So it's virtually impossible for a boss to watch. The only reason he's going to watch it is if you give him a reason. If you don't give him a reason, he's not going to watch it.
Marks, who's written 2 books about his techniques, claims he's retired from cheating and blackjack. But he didn't walk away empty-handed.
As far as how much I made, I just keep quiet. It was just a lot of money.
But here's a tip for you just in case you think emulating Dustin Marks seems like a good idea. The state of Nevada does not have a sense of humor about casino cheating. If you're caught, it's a felony offense and you could face a $10,000 fine and up to 10 years in prison. Now those are high stakes. We already know that, for the most part, slot machines are an inherently bad bet, paying back far less than many other games. In fact, it's always been conventional wisdom among the pros that you should avoid all machine games.
Essentially, a rule of thumb that I always like to put forward is that you're going to do better playing table games than you will playing mechanical games.
But some players now think there is a machine game that defies that long-held belief. Video poker.
Video poker is one of the few games in the casino where the player can have the advantage.
Professional gambler Bob Dancer has spent years learning how to beat the machines.
A lot of us make our living playing video poker. Everybody can learn to lose less or play longer on the same amount of money.
Video poker is exactly what it sounds like. Your cards are dealt on a computer screen and you use buttons to tell the machine which ones you want to keep and which to discard.
Video poker and live poker are different. There's different personality types. Video poker, it's me against the machine. I'm more of an introvert type, so I like the me against the machine. Live poker has its advantages, but it requires a certain number of social skills that video poker does not require.
For beginners, learning how to play video poker is self-explanatory.
It's not hard to learn it all. The machine tells you how to play, and you just hold or let go, and it does everything for you.
But while learning the rules may be easy, learning the strategy is much more complicated. But there are some secrets every player should know.
The main thing a player has to learn is which pay schedules are to their advantage. Approximately 1 out of 100 of these in a casino are in the player's advantage if the player knows what to look for.
The pay schedules found on the front of every machine show the number of coins you'll get back for different hands. On this machine, for a pair of jacks or better, you'll get back 1 coin for every coin you bet. Even money, in other words. 2 pair will pay 2 coins, 3 of a kind pays 3 coins, and so on. But different machines have different pay schedules. According to Dancer, the trick to finding the right machine is what it pays off on a full house and a flush.
You're going to get 7 full houses an hour on average. So if you're playing on a dollar machine that returns 40 for every full house instead of 45, that's going to be a $35 hour difference between being on a machine that paid 40 for a full house instead of 45.
Okay, maybe video poker isn't so simple after all.
On this machine, if we look at the pay schedule, there is an 8 and a 6 for full house and flush. This is not a bad schedule. There are better ones. I would not play this. Next to it is a 10-play version. And now instead of 8 and 6, it's got 8 and 5, meaning that the flush returns less here than it did before. This game is 9 and 6. This is the machine to play. At this casino, it returns over 100%.
And what are other methods for picking the right machine?
I don't pick certain machines unless one is actually calling to me, and then I'll find it.
According to the pros, if you're serious about learning the game, there's an easier and cheaper way to do it than sitting in a casino watching your next mortgage payment disappear down the coin slot.
If you want to win at video poker, practicing on a computer is mandatory.
Computerized versions of video poker, as well as almost every other gambling game, are widely available. But be sure to choose one that simulates the game the way it's played in the casinos. The idea is to turn it from a game of short-term chance into one of long-term skill. On most casino floors, there's one spot where the gamblers aren't playing games, although they're betting on them. It's the casino sportsbook, where the action can be as furious as in the sporting events themselves.
Sports betting can be good for a number of reasons. Sports betting actually, for a few people, goes into that category of beatable games.
There's only one kind of betting like it. Sports betting's the greatest. Why? Because you win more than you lose.
Still, this is not a scene for the timid.
I'm a pretty big loser today. 10,000.
Sports betting in Las Vegas is booming. In the last 2 decades, it's mushroomed into a gigantic operation, with more than 2.5 billion bet annually. On any given day, the list of sporting events you can bet on is larger than Shaquille O'Neal's arms.
It changes depending on the season. Yesterday there were about 90 basketball games. We probably had about 100 propositions for the Super Bowl. We had golf, we had tennis, we had NASCAR. It was probably up to 500 yesterday.
Joe Lupo manages the sports book at the Stardust, which is known for setting the earliest betting lines, the odds the casino puts on each game or event.
On a daily basis, we hang the basketball and baseball lines at 8 a.m. During football season, we hang the lines at 5:30 on Sunday night after the rest of the games have concluded.
But the lines can fluctuate right up to game time. According to the pros, the first step in sports gambling is understanding how the lines are determined. Though each casino does it differently, most rely on outside help.
We get the lines from all our consultants. We use all the lines together to formulate our Stardust opening line.
One of the major outside sources the Stardust and other casinos rely on is Las Vegas sports consultants.
We set the lines and the odds and point spreads for all major sporting events here in America and abroad.
Setting the lines these days is a high-tech operation.
We get our information from a variety of sources, one of which is a large sports information data bank that we have within our company, and we're constantly looking at the internet 24/7 to take a look at injuries, numbers where we can get valuable information on each team, each player. It's a constant race for information.
So can you beat the odds makers? Maybe.
There are people that have developed computer analysis systems that can take into consideration so many factors about teams' strengths and weaknesses versus other teams that they can actually outperform and out-handicap the public in general vis-a-vis the bookie. So for a select few, sports betting can be a winning proposition.
Now, most of us obviously aren't going to be among that select few that devote that much time and energy to it. So is there anything we can do?
Do your homework, don't bet with your heart, and don't bet what you can't lose.
Do at least a modicum of research. Some casinos like the Stardust have background info to help you make a smarter choice.
So sad.
The Handicappers Library has been here a long time at the Stardust. We provide odds and information, weather reports, injury reports to our guests.
I need a winner tomorrow night, guys.
Sports betting is the only game of opinion. Everything else here is a game of chance. It's the only place you can reduce the odds to win. First of all, you better know who you're betting on. You know, you can pick up information on the teams to find out if you're on the right or the wrong side of the number.
Ravens all the way.
Here's one other inside tip that can help.
Different sports books have different numbers. Shopping around for a point spread is on the player's side, just like you shop for soup, the best price. You get the best price.
First half and under?
Yeah, 400.
You can pick up a half a point here or there. Typically, I'll look at about 3 or 4 different casinos, see what they're doing.
Ultimately, in sports betting, as in every other form of gambling, there is no such beast known as a sure thing.
If there were any tips that could increase the odds of winning, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on the other side gambling away.
So once again, the best way to approach a sports book is as a form of entertainment.
For the public at large, sports betting is great because of its value aspect. You can go up and make a bet for $11 and get 3 hours of action in a football game. So your $11 is going to be riding for 3 hours, and believe me, it seems every bit as exciting as that one hand of blackjack that you pick up for the same $11 bet. So from a relative value standpoint, sports betting is probably king.
If luck's on your side, you might actually get paid for your time. But if not, just enjoy the ride.
You know, you win some, you lose some. Tomorrow's another day.
Casinos are designed with one thing in mind, to take money from you. It's a simple fact of math. Over the long haul, the house percentages will take you down. But what many gamblers don't know is that there is a trick that lets you get something back. They're known as comps, casino shorthand for complimentaries.
Comps are an inducement which the casinos give players in order to entice them to either stay longer or return to the casino. They can take many forms, everything from free valet parking to cocktails all the way up to free rides in a limousine, jets, suites, whatever it may be. Anything that a customer may want in Las Vegas can come in the form of a comp.
To seasoned gamblers, comps are an integral part of their strategy, a way to increase their winnings or get back part of their losses.
Casinos spend an enormous amount of money on comps annually. In Las Vegas alone, they spent over $1 billion last year, and that's over $3 million a day. It's over $100,000 an hour just to bring these people in the door and to keep them here.
Most gamblers think comps are reserved for high rollers, but in fact, everyone can get in on the action.
Anyone that sits down and plays will get free drinks. If you go into any other city and order a Dewar's and water, for example, it costs you $4.50 to $7 or $8. Here, they're handing that to you for free. So everyone can take advantage of it. A lot of people just don't believe they're worthy of the comps.
But the rewards can go far beyond free drinks, even for small-time players. You just need to know the secrets.
The last year that we stayed in hotel casinos, we stayed 191 days in a casino and never paid for one.
Jean Scott has been called the Queen of Comps. Her book, The Frugal Gambler, is a how-to guide for the average player to take the casinos at their own game.
Everyone, unless you just have more money than God or Bill Gates, wants to spend or at least get value for your money. This is why I stress comps. The comp system is set up to reward you for playing.
Scott's first tip is to make yourself known as soon as you enter the casino.
If you're going to play a table game, then you just merely tell the dealer before you put any money down, I want to be rated. The pit boss comes over, they take your name, maybe a little bit of information about you, and they start tracking your play.
They put in what they call a rating card. That goes into the computer based on your average length of time you're playing, your average bet, and what type of game you're playing, and then the computer generates a comp value based on those three factors.
Then after you've played for several hours, you can ask the pit boss, have I earned any comps? He or she will tell you.
The secret to comps isn't how much you win or lose, it's how much you play.
We reward you for what you do. We comp you, according to your level of play, rooms, food, beverage, whatever.
Another tip from Vegas veteran Max Rubin, who's written a book called Comp City, is to try a little fakery to increase your comp status.
You must give them the impression that you're playing more than you actually are. You give them that impression by betting big when the boss is watching. You bet small when the boss isn't watching.
But comps aren't just for table players.
Now, if you're a machine player, you don't even have to talk to a person to do this. Well, you do have to go to the slot club before you start playing and get one of these slot players card. We sometimes call them players card. Then every time you go to a machine, you stick that card in a slot. It tracks how long you're playing, how much money you're putting through the machine. And then you go back to the slot club and you say, how much have I earned? It's that easy.
Think of them as an airline mileage clubs. Most of them have fantastic reward systems, which includes cashback. In other words, you get so much cash every time you play. Not a great deal and not enough to make up for your loss, but cash is cash. Or you can get comps, free meals, free rooms, or discounted rooms, free or discounted entertainment.
Coupons change each month. You use them and come back each month and get a different one. This one and then this one are redeemed here. This one's redeemed over at the retail store. You have a room rate offer, free table bet, and a complimentary dessert at the Pink Taco.
Okay.
Almost every casino offers club cards.
Hi, can I get you a player card this evening? I see you're going to play this machine. Give me just a second, and I'll be right back with your card. Okay? Thanks. You're welcome.
And they're not just for slots. You log in at every game you play.
But you can get some great stuff, but you have to join.
The longer you play, the more you earn in the way of comps. So choose your games carefully to make your playing time last.
It's much easier to earn comps at certain table games simply because the house has an inherent edge. For example, roulette, wins 50 times as much money per hand as a blackjack game will. So they give you more comps. However, you're losing more money too. The easiest game to earn comps that you really don't deserve is at the blackjack table, because they do not have methods of determining what your skill levels are, and they give away those comps based upon the universe of bad players.
In other words, good players get comped as if they're losing money at the same rate as bad players. It's also true for machine games.
As far as the machines are concerned, it's video poker, because again, that's a skill-based game, and they give away comps based upon how poorly everybody plays, and the universe of all video poker players loses at a rate of, say, 2 to 3% on every spin, where a proficient video poker player may lose 0.2%, 0.3%.
And Gene Scott says that if you're playing the machines, don't be shy.
After you become a little more knowledgeable, then you won't want to just take what is given to you automatically, but you will want to seek out a host, the slot host. And that's when you can start really using the system, because the slot host can give a little bit more than you can just get automatically by playing on your card. That's our very first one here. Give me a
Besides the things you should do to get comped, there are also things you shouldn't do.
You never insult a boss. You never insult a dealer. You never stiff anybody. We all work for tips at one time or the other. And if you're out winning and you're not giving a little bit of it away, well, the boss is going to treat you accordingly. You just never say things like, well, what do you got to do to get a comp around here? You never put the people on the defensive. If you make their life easier, they'll make your life easier. Kind of human nature.
Of course, comps enter a whole new dimension for true high rollers who are known in casino jargon as whales.
In order for someone to qualify for the highest level of comps and to be considered a whale, they are betting anywhere from $25,000 to $250,000 a hand. I mean, in one turn of the cards, these people win or lose more than most people make in a year. The whales can get anything from a 15,000 square foot suite that comes with valets, butlers, their own personal chefs, limousines at their disposal, anything from a Rolls Royce for Christmas, which was just given away to a high-end player at one of the casinos here, to chartered 747s for their entire entourage. The one thing that casinos will not provide is female companionship.
People will get a little crazy with their requests, but you know, on the whole, people are pretty much, they know what range they can ask for and what they can't.
And just how outrageous do the requests get?
I don't know if I want to say.
Casinos have different standards about who gets the better comps.
Now, as far as the casinos are concerned, a smaller property such as Arizona Charlie's, a high roller is someone that may be betting $25 to $50 because it gets management's attention. And that's basically what a high roller is. Now, if you go into an MGM or a Bellagio, if you're not betting at least $500 a hand, you are not considered a high roller and aren't treated as such.
But if you are, the sky's the limit.
The most extravagant comps I've ever gotten were ski weekends up to Lake Tahoe, which included lift tickets, lessons, a limousine at my disposal, and for 6 of my friends for a total of a week. That was pretty extravagant comp, along with the airfares. I've had dinners for up to 25 people in the gourmet rooms, that sort of thing. And of course, I've stayed in lots of nice suites and had a lot of fun.
The whole idea, of course, is that the casinos expect to get you in the long run and recoup the comps, along with a fistful of additional cash. To the pros, that's a challenge they can't resist.
You have to be a pretty serious gambler. That doesn't mean you have to be a pretty serious sucker. You have to give the casino the impression that they are going to be able to make some money off of you. In the past, the casinos would dangle these comps in front of gamblers to attract their bankroll. So what we do, conversely, is we dangle our bankrolls in front of the casinos to attract their comps.
Remember, you should never be embarrassed about trying to finagle extras from the casinos. They have no shame about going after every nickel in your pocket, so just turn it into a game. One of the few games in Vegas where you actually have nothing to lose. Every time you visit Las Vegas, you're likely to find some spectacular new hotel casino that's popped up. The old ones come down, and bigger and better ones open to replace them. But building these new monsters costs big-time cash, and the person who ends up paying for it is you, the customer. However, for players looking for the best deal for their money, the pros know the secret. Find out where the bargains are. On the Strip, they say the best bang for your buck is at the Stratosphere, that giant needle that looms over the entire city.
The Stratosphere is really kind of a bargain gem that a lot of people don't know about.
Part of it may be that it's a little farther down the Strip than some of the other major hotels.
They built the tallest structure west of the Mississippi, and they were sure that everybody would show up, but people didn't. They just figured that the Strip ended at Sahara Avenue, so they had to do them in with their loss leaders. And they do it with discounted rooms, they do it with good gambling games, they do it with a great show, American Superstars, for under $30 a ticket. They do it for 2-for-1 coupons to that show if you're a member of their slot club. So we take advantage of it and we go there.
And indeed, rooms here start as low as $39.
We are in the process of a 1,002 room expansion, and within this 1,002 rooms, there will be 100 suites. Many of them are what we call spa suites, where individuals will actually be able to sit in a spa at night and look down the Strip and see the beauty of the lights at night.
But it isn't just the rooms that are a bargain here. The Stratosphere also has some of the best casino odds in town. Some of their video poker games kick back 100% of what's put in. They have slots that return 98%, and they have single zero roulette. But still, there's something even better than that. A money-back guarantee for first-time slot machine players.
First-time slot player comes in, joins our player club, plays at least a half hour, and essentially we refund their losses up to $125 if they do lose during that 30 minutes, plus with a 10% bonus on that loss. We feel it's an outstanding program to attract new individuals here.
Getting your losses back is a pretty rare find in Las Vegas, but that doesn't mean you can't find some other good deals. Once again, you just need to know where to look.
Right now, the loosest payoffs you're going to find is to go to the casinos that are around the perimeter of Las Vegas. Those are known as the locals casinos. This local faction tends to be smarter when it comes to value. So they have to give back more in the restaurants, they have to give back more in the games, and that's where the tourists can come in and say, heck, I'll take advantage of what the locals are getting.
In other words, if you steer clear of the Strip, it could be to your advantage. One of the pros' favorite off-strip clubs is called Arizona Charlie's East. It's a few miles east of the bright lights on the Boulder Highway. There are other clubs there, but Arizona Charlie's is the new kid on the block, so they have to try a little harder to draw people in.
They've got looser payoffs on their video poker machines. They've got good blackjack games, they've got good entertainment in the lounge, and these are the kind of places that we love, where they're just promoting their brains out and spending a lot of money to make their product better, which allows the savvy consumer to take advantage again.
But even gamblers have to eat, and Arizona Charlie's has some of the best food bargains in town.
So they've got a restaurant there called the Yukon Grill, which has got gourmet type food for what you'd pay in the coffee shops anyplace else. It's just a tremendous place to eat.
You can get a complete sirloin dinner for $3.99. But what they're really famous for is a steak and eggs breakfast for just $2.49. Of course, if good food at good prices is part of your itinerary, there are a couple of other places in town the pros recommend.
Some of the deals that we tout are a 5-cent cup of coffee at Westward Ho. Throw a donut into the mix and it's 25 cents. Perhaps the hippest, hottest place to go is the Hard Rock. And they've got a steak and shrimp deal that is absolutely spectacular.
You'll find it at Mr. Lucky's, the Hard Rock's coffee shop. Pretty much everything on the menu is good here, but a secret only the locals and repeat customers know is that the steak and shrimp deal isn't on the menu. You have to ask for it.
It's not on the menu because it's a way to get our locals to come in and reward them for their business. You can't beat it. Steak and shrimp for $5.95. Where else can you go for that?
This last place we're going to let you in on is maybe the best restaurant in Las Vegas no one's ever heard of, at least till recently. You'll find it 2 miles off the strip, buried in a nondescript shopping center.
We've got a Thai restaurant here right now called Lotus of Siam, which is written up as being one of the best Thai restaurants. And that's a non-casino restaurant where you can have some of the best Thai grub that you're going to get anywhere really in the nation.
The decor may not be fancy, but the food definitely is, and a steal to boot. The extensive luncheon buffet, a local favorite, goes for just $5.95.
We even comped at some of the hotels for meals and rooms, and we still come here and pay for our lunch. It's that good.
Very few of my friends know about this, and when I finally convince somebody to come here and try this, they rave about it. I mean, people call me weeks, months later and say, man, I just can't get that out of my mind, how good that was.
When Gourmet magazine called Lotus of Siam the country's best Thai restaurant, it was great for business. And though it might have filled the owners with thoughts of expanding and moving to a more upscale location, it turns out they like things just the way they are.
When you come in, you talk to the partner, you talk to the owner, you talk to the chef. You don't talk to the waiter. As you come in and you feel like this is part of your family, part of your house, part of your kitchen. So we try to keep on taking that traditions.
You really feel like a king when you come here. You really do.
Thank you.
Usually when you go on vacation, you have a pretty good idea ahead of time how much that vacation is going to cost. But going to Las Vegas is different. You can't factor in the unknown, like, what if I lose? How many times am I going to go back to the ATM to get a new bankroll? And even if you set a limit for your losses, what happens if you hit that limit on the second day of a 4-day vacation? Is there any place in the world more depressing to be than Las Vegas with an empty wallet and your credit cards maxed out? So the next time you head for the neon capital of the world, play it safe and do what the pros do. Spend a bit of time doing some basic research. Then, pick your games wisely. Know how to play them to your best advantage. Play slowly. Don't be embarrassed to use coupons and ask for comps. And if you do venture into winner's territory, try to quit while you're ahead. None of this may send you home as a newly minted millionaire, but it will help you maximize your fun while you minimize your outlay. And isn't that really the key to a winning vacation?